Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Now let us open the notebook of biology. Chapter 2, Windows of Knowledge. Here in this chapter we already studied about sense organs and functions. So which are the sense organs present in our body? Let us see sense organs and their receptors. Okay, so there are 5 sense organs in our body. All these sense organs have receptors for receiving stimuli. Our sense organ has receptors for receiving stimuli. Let us see which are they. First one, eye. So eye has photoreceptors for receiving light. Understood? Light is received by photoreceptors that is present in the eye. Next, second one, ear. Ear has auditory receptors for receiving the sound. And tongue has chemoreceptors for receiving the taste. Skin has many receptors like pain, cold, touch, pressure, temperature for receiving pain, cold, touch, pressure, etc. Nose has olfactory receptors for receiving smell. While preparing notes, you can prepare a table like this which include 3 columns: part, peculiarity and function. Okay, here I am reading all these. I have already explained all these while taking class. First one, sclera, white outer layer made up of connective tissue. Function, give firmness to the eye. And cornea, this is the part of sclera. Projected transparent anterior part of sclera. Function, refract light rays to focus on retina. Conjunctiva is also a layer of sclera, layer which cover and protect the front part of sclera except the cornea, secrete mucus which protect the anterior part of the eye from being dry. Second layer, choroid, middle layer. It contains large number of blood vessels, so it helps in nutrition. Okay. Iris, part of choroid seen behind the cornea, and it contains melanin pigment which give dark color to the iris. And next one, pupil, aperture seen at the center of the iris. Size of pupil increases and decreases depending on the intensity of light. And next one, lens, elastic, transparent, convex, connected to ciliary muscles with the help of ligaments, helps in image formation. Ciliary muscles seen around the lens, contraction and relaxation of this muscle change the curvature of lens. So these muscles helps to change the shape of lens. Retina, inner layer, contain photoreceptors, rods and cones which help in vision. And next one, yellow spot, part of retina where more number of photoreceptors are seen. So that is the point of maximum vision, maximum clearer vision. And next one, blind spot, part of retina from where optic nerve begins. Photoreceptors are actually not seen here, so there is no vision. Optic nerve, this is the nerve that is arising from blind spot area, transmit impulses from photoreceptors to the brain. And there are 2 chambers in our eye, aqueous and vitreous. First one, aqueous chamber. It contains water-like fluid, aqueous humor. This chamber is seen between lens and cornea, formed from blood reabsorbed into blood. And what is its function? It is providing oxygen and nourishment to the tissues of the eye. And next one, vitreous chamber. It contains jelly-like fluid, vitreous humor, seen between retina and lens, and this one helps in maintaining the shape of the eye. As eye is one of the important organ, protection is also necessary, right? So next one, protection of eye. So which all parts are protecting our eye? Which are they? Eye socket, external eye muscles, eyebrow, eyelashes, eyelids, conjunctiva and tear. First one, eye socket. There are depressions present in the skull. In this depression, we can see the eye. And external eye muscles are fixing the eyeballs in the orbit. Otherwise, eye may fall down. So, eyes are actually fixed in the orbit of the skull. Orbit means depression. Depression of the skull with the help of external eye muscles. Eyebrow, eyelashes and eyelids prevent dust, sweat, and foreign particles. And conjunctiva layer, we already seen conjunctiva on the eye. Produce mucus. Mucus protect the anterior part of the eye from being dry. So what happens if our eye become dry? All the dust particles will stick. That will be harmful to our eye. Our eye should always wet. Tear, clean and lubricate the anterior part of the eyeball. Tear is cleaning and lubricating the front portion of eye, and it contains an enzyme called lysozyme which destroy the germ that enter the eye. Lysozyme will kill the germs that may enter the eye. Next one, flowchart of vision or flowchart of movement of light through our eyes. First, light is received by which part of the eye? Front part of the eye, that is cornea, and from there it moves through aqueous chamber and then moves through pupil, lens and finally reaches vitreous chamber. From there it falls on yellow spot of retina. Many changes happens from there and finally impulse is formed. Impulse means message. This message or impulses are carried by nerve, optic nerve, to the cerebrum of the brain. So we are able to see the object in front of us. Regulation of light in the eye. There are two parts which help in regulating the light that enter the eye. They are iris and pupil. Iris and pupil regulate the amount of light falling on the eyes. That means if there is bright light and dim light, according to that iris and pupil change its size, that will result in regulation of light. So change in pupil in dim light. What happens in dim light and what happens in bright light? So first, what happens in dim light? Let us see. Radial muscles contract. Size of pupil increases. More light enter the eye. As there is dim light outside, we need more light. So radial muscle will contract, pupil size increases, so more light enter the eye. Then change in pupil in bright light. Circular muscle contract, size of pupil decrease, less light enter the eye. As there is bright light, that will be harmful to our eye. So pupil size decreases, so less light enter the eye. What are the peculiarities of the image that is falling on retina? The image will be small, inverted and real. Real means exact copy of the image, but it will be small and inverted. While viewing near and distant objects, many changes happens in different parts of our eye like ciliary muscle, ligaments and curvature of lens. So these three parts adjust which help us to see near and distant object. So what happens in these three parts? Let us see that. First one, while viewing nearby objects, what happens? Ciliary muscle will contract, ligaments will relax, curvature of the lens increase, focal length will decrease. As a result, we are able to see the nearby object. What happens while viewing distant object? Ciliary muscle relax, ligaments will stretch, curvature of lens decrease and focal length will increase. Because of these changes of ciliary muscle, ligament and lens, we are able to see the object, nearer object and distant object. So we have seen here that ciliary muscle, ligaments and lens have the ability to adjust its size, which enable us to see the object. That is, the ability of the eye to adjust the focal length of the lens by changing its curvature in accordance to the distance of the object from the eye and from the image on the retina is called the power of accommodation of the eye. So this ability of our eye to adjust ligaments, ciliary muscle and lens to see the nearer and distant object is called power of accommodation of the eye. Retina and photoreceptors. Retina has two important photoreceptors, rod cell and cone cell, which help us in vision. So first one is the rod cell and second one is the cone cell. So let us compare rod cell and corn cell based on indicators, pigment, shape, function, peculiarity. So the pigment that is present in rod cell is rhodopsin, and what is the pigment that is present in corn cell? Photopsin or iodopsin. And shape of rod cell is rod shaped and corn cell is corn shaped. Function, rod cell helps in dim light vision, corn cell helps in color vision. And peculiarity, both is composed of opsin and retinal. That is, we can say there are three types of corn cells in our eyes. They help us to detect red, green and blue colors. This diversity is due to the difference in amino acid in opsin molecule. So we have three types of corn cell which help us to detect red, green and blue colors. Next one, the chemistry of vision. That is, we have seen that light moves through cornea and finally falls on yellow spot. From there what happens? Okay. So yellow spot has rhodopsin and photopsin. Both these are made up of retinal and opsin. Retinal is the derivative of vitamin A and opsin is a protein. So which are the steps? Light falls on the pigments and as a result these pigments dissociate. Impulses are formed. Optic nerve carry impulses to cerebrum. So vision is formed. This is how impulses are formed in retina. Binocular vision. The images from two sides of the same object are formed in left and right eye. When these two images combine as a result of the activities of the brain, a three-dimensional image of the object is formed. This is called binocular vision. In human beings, we can see binocular vision. We studied about different eye defect and diseases. So let us write the notes. You can prepare a table like this: disease, reason and symptoms and remedy. First one, night blindness. What are the reason and symptom? Vitamin A deficiency, low retinal and rhodopsin, not able to see in dim light. As this is because of vitamin A deficiency, what is the remedy? How can we treat night blindness? Include vitamin A food in the diet. That is important. And next one, xerophthalmia, prolonged deficiency of vitamin A. As a result, what happens to conjunctiva and cornea? It becomes dry and opaque. This leads to blindness. And the remedy is including vitamin A food in diet, and also treatment is necessary. Treatment is very important. Next disease, color blindness. Color blindness is due to the defect of corn cell, not able to distinguish red and green color. And what is the remedy? Treatment is the remedy. Next disease, glaucoma. Aqueous humor is not reabsorbed into the blood. As a result, pressure increases in eye. So retina and photoreceptors are damaged. This will lead to complete blindness. And remedy is by doing laser surgery. Next disease, cataract. Here lens become opaque. Normal property of our lens is transparent, but here lens become opaque. This leads to blindness. And what is the remedy? Replace the lens with artificial lens through surgery. So lens should be replaced with artificial lens through surgery. Conjunctivitis, infection of conjunctiva by bacteria, virus, etc. You have to maintain personal hygiene. What all things we have to keep in mind for the protection of eyes? Only some points. Okay, you can find out the remaining points. Include vitamin A rich food in diet. Wear sunglasses to get protection from UV rays of sun. When you are going outside, you have to wear sunglasses if it's very hot outside. Avoid excessive use of mobile phone, computer, etc. Blink more while using mobile and computer. That is, don't stare at computer and mobile screen. You have to blink in between. Visit your eye doctor if you are feeling any serious problem. Next is sense organ, ear. Functions of the ear, we already discussed that, hearing and balancing. Structure of ear, we already discussed full details of ear in our previous video. You have to check that, okay? So ear is divided into three parts: external ear, middle ear and internal ear. External ear parts are pinna, auditory canal and tympanum. Middle ear parts are ear ossicles and eustachian tube. And you can see here two windows, round window and oval window. Internal ear parts are semicircular canal, vestibule, cochlea, vestibular nerve and auditory nerve. You can prepare a table like this for writing the notes, part, peculiarity and function. First one, pinna, carry sound to the auditory canal, and next part, auditory canal, carry sound wave to the tympanum. Hair and wax seen here prevent dust and foreign particle. And next part of the external ear, what is that? Tympanum, thin circular membrane that separates middle ear from external ear. It vibrates in resonance with the sound waves. These three are the parts of external ear. Okay. Now, internal ear parts. First one, ear ossicle. There are three ear ossicle. Ear ossicle means bones, malleus, incus and stapes. And what is their function? Amplify and transmit the vibrations of the tympanum to the internal ear. And next in middle ear we can see eustachian tube, and it is connecting middle ear and pharynx. Protect the tympanum by balancing pressure on either side of the tympanum. Internal ear parts, semicircular canal helps in balancing, vestibule helps in balancing, vestibular nerve carry impulses from semicircular canal and vestibule to cerebellum for balancing. So these three parts are related with balancing. And note that this is carried to cerebellum. Impulses are carried to cerebellum for balancing. Okay. Cochlea helps in hearing. Auditory nerve carry impulses from cochlea to cerebrum for hearing. So these two parts are related with hearing. You have to nod here to cerebrum for hearing. And there are two windows, oval window and round window. Oval window seen attached to stapes spread vibration of ear ossicle to inner ear. Round window helps in the movement of fluid inside the cochlea. Internal ear location. It is located inside a bony case in the skull called a bony labyrinth. In this bony case, membranous labyrinth is also seen. And which are the fluids in the ear? Endolymph and perilymph. Endolymph seen inside membranous labyrinth, and perilymph is seen between membranous and bony labyrinth. Cochlea is a shell-like structure. Let us see how it looks when uncoiled. So uncoiled cochlea, we already discussed in detail about uncoiled cochlea. So let's read the notes. Okay. It is a coiled tube like a snail shell. It consists of three chambers, upper, middle and lower chamber. And middle and lower chamber is separated by a membrane called basilar membrane. There is a basilar membrane here. Basilar membrane contains hair cells which are acting as auditory receptors. And basilar membrane and sensory hair cell together called organ of Corti. Flow chart of hearing. Sound waves are collected by pinna, then it moves through auditory canal, tympanum, ear ossicles like malleus, incus and stapes, oval window, cochlea. Hair cells in basilar membrane activated, impulse is formed, carried by auditory nerve to the cerebrum and sense of hearing. Flow chart of balancing. Movement of head. As a result, what happened? Movement of endolymph present inside the vestibule and semicircular canal. Movement of sensory hair cells. As a result, impulse is formed, carried by vestibular nerve to the cerebellum, and equilibrium of the body is maintained. Next sense organ is tongue to detect taste. Okay. Chemoreceptors in mouth and tongue help us to detect taste. The projected structures seen on the surface of the tongue are called a papilla. Taste buds are seen on papilla. Taste buds help us to detect tastes like sweet, salt, bitter, umami, etc. Then how we are able to feel or how we are able to detect the taste? Let us see the flow chart. Substances dissolve in saliva. Chemoreceptors are stimulated. Impulse is formed, carried by the nerve to the cerebrum. So we are able to experience the taste. Next sense organ is nose, which help us to detect smell. Aromatic particles in the air enter the nostril. Aromatic particles dissolve in mucus which is seen inside the nostril. As a result, olfactory receptors are stimulated. Impulse is formed. Olfactory nerve carried to cerebrum, so smell is detected. Next sense organ is skin. There are different receptors on our skin. They are pain receptor, cold receptor, touch receptor, pressure receptor and temperature receptor. Next, receptors in various other organisms. We can prepare a table like this: organism, sense organ and function. First one, planaria. Planaria has high spot which help to detect light. And second organism, housefly, Ommatidia, to detect light. And next organism, snake, has Jacobson's organ to detect smell. Shark has lateral line and olfactory receptor. Lateral line helps to detect change in balance of the body. Olfactory receptor help to detect the smell. Thank you for visiting this channel, and please do watch other class videos which have Malayalam explanation.